Let's start creating our server right now. So the first line, which we'll just write in our code, will be const express, and we'll just require the express, which we have installed. And that will create the express application if we'll use that, and that will just simple that will be simple HTTP application, which will allow us to connect from the client side. And after that, we'll just require the express package. We also will need the HTTP package. So we'll just go for require HTTP. What we need also, it will be cores, which we have installed just to allow the connections for everyone right now. But before the deployment, we'll change that, and only we'll be able to connect from the real address of where our frontend being is hosted. So we need also the Mongoose, but we'll be using that later on because we'll be creating the connection with the database. Also, we'll go for require.env, and that will allow us to read the variables from .env file. We just need to go for the config like this. And now I will show you how we'll be able to access that when we'll be configuring the port address of our server. And right now that will be everything. So let's right now define the port. So the port of our application will be process.env.port, and that will be common if the application will be hosted, because it doesn't matter if we'll host that on the Heroku, on the other server. If that will be hosted, the environment where we have hosted the application will be providing us the variable, which will be the port, and that our server will be started exactly at this port. And if that will be not provided, so if that will be in our local environment, we'll get that from process.env, which will be API port. And from where that will be coming? From the file which we will create. So we can save it right now. And I will just create a new file at the Discord backend, and that will be .env file. And here we'll be storing that environment variables. And now we'll have only one, which will be API port, and I will be just going for 5002. That will be the port which I will be using. And now, if application will be not hosted, we'll get that port number from .env file, and exactly it will be this one. So just after that, we can just define that we would like to create application, express application, just to executing that express which we have required. Now, let's tell our application that we would like to use the middleware, which will be the express.json. So all of the data which will be coming in the request will be changed to the JSON format. Also, we'll tell our application that we would like to use the cores, and that will allow us, if we'll not pass any configuration, our server will allow connection for anyone. And in Express is all about the middlewares, so we're just registering the new middlewares, which will, when the request is coming, will be going for that express.json between that cores, and also we'll be creating our custom middleware, for example, for the authentication if the token is correct, but we'll be doing that later on. And that will be the first thing which we'll be creating. And now we just need to create our server. So let's go and we'll define that our server will create a HTTP server, and we'll just pass the Express application which we have created. And now what we are missing? We are just missing last thing, that we would like to start our server. So that will be server.listen. And here we'll be passing the port. If that will be our local environment, that port will be 5002, which I have specified right here. And if the application will be hosted, it will be coming from here, because the port will be assigned automatically. So we'll just listen at the port, and we'll have here the callback function. That function will be executed successfully. And what we'll have, we'll just console log, just to know. Let's go to use the backticks that server is listening on, and here we'll just pass the port number. And that should be our simple Express server, which we'll be using. And we can test it right now. And if we are at the level of the discord.backend, we can just go for node server.js. And as we are seeing, cannot find the Mongoose. Probably I just write this wrongly because one O should be here and two O's should be right here. Mongoose, like this, which we have right here. And now if we'll go for once again for node server.js, we'll be seeing that our server is listening on 5002 on the port which we have created in the .env file. So as we are seeing, everything is working with our server. So in the next part we will use the nodaemon. That nodaemon will be watching for the changes, and if any changes will be saved on our server will be automatically restarted, because right now it will be working like this, that if we will create more codes line or we would like to edit our server, we would need to stop the server manually with Ctrl+C and once again go for node server.js. And now we'll just configure that, so that will be done automatically in the next video.